Now, this morning in the kitchen we have a lovely hearty dish, which after the weekend I feel I need it all, to be honest with you.
Yes, Edward Hayden has a slow-cooked beef and red wine casserole on the menu. Smells delicious already.
Yeah,
Edward.
it's smelling lovely. I kind of feel like I'm like the Pied Piper of beef casseroles this morning. The smell is wafting to the oven.
Need.
Yeah, it is just what we need, and I think people are still looking for kind of those hearty dishes.
Winter dishes,
The weather was kind of cool. It was gorgeous over the weekend, but it was really cool and crisp. So I think we still want to.
I got drenched. The wind cut you in two. I went for a walk yesterday. I got back into the car. I said, "Oh, we'll leave that for another day."
We call that cool and crisp, John and Green. But, you know, these kind of like the hug in the bowl type dishes are still very favourite. So I've got this morning. So I've just got some beef here. And just during the ad break, I've just started to saute it off because I always think it's advantageous to kind of saute it off first. Some people maybe just fill it all with the water and things like that.
But stewing beef? What type of beef?
I'm using a stewing beef.
What's that?
A stewing beef.
Are you using a stewing beef?
Yeah, I'm using. So again, you can use whatever. You could use maybe shin. You could use a little bit of brisket. Some people use round. I tend maybe to think the round tends to be a little bit void of fat, so it can be a little bit drier.
Because if you're cooking it for so long, it is going to get tender.
The brisket or the chuck would be gorgeous as the type of it. But again, just get some stewing beef with your butcher, and they'll have it all prepared for you.
Okay.
Now, I've got some salt and pepper. As always, I'm singing the song, you put the salt and pepper into meat after it has been browned off. Then it's very much up to yourself. I've gone with the kind of the basics this morning. So I've got some carrots here, which I've just chopped into chunks. I've got some onions, which I've just chopped into chunks. And I'm using some of the chestnut mushrooms, okay, which I've just halved. So I'm going to pop in some chestnut mushrooms in there as well. And I've also got a little bit of garlic. Now, again, there's an opportunity to kind of to play around with this. People might decide to add in turnip. They might add in celeriac. If you want to go that more kind of Mediterranean or Hungarian, you could go in with some of the peppers and use tomatoes as the kind of the base of it as well. So this is kind of, it's like a mother recipe.
We're not add a weird taste to it, no?
No, turnip is gorgeous, and chunks of turnip is lovely. Now, I wouldn't be mad on putting parsnip in it, because I sometimes think it can soften a little bit more than you want to. But turnip, carrot, celeriac is all gorgeous in there as well.
Root vegetables, you know.
You're not?
No. I like carrots.
Yeah,
but
I love carrots now.
The celeriac.
But think of putting in some leeks, think of putting in some celery, if you like celery as well. It's gorgeous. So,
see, when you go into these restaurants now, it's all celeriac soup and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm going,
curried.
What? Yeah. Whatever happened to an old bowl of vegetable or oxtail
vegetable.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Just relax.
The oxtail is gone. Now, into that, I'm going to put some flour. I'm going to put some tomato puree, and I'm going to put a little bit of paprika. So I have a little bit of paprika here, but you could put in cayenne pepper if you wanted as well. If you wanted a little bit extra spicy.
Is the flour chili flakes?
I know chili flakes this morning, but you could put it in.
Is the flour just to thicken it up?
The flour is going to be your thickening agent, absolutely. So the flour is going to be your thickening agent. Fry that off, and if you can just have a look at that, guys, it looks kind of dry and, you know, fluffy at the minute, if you like, and it's just a bit tacky. So I don't mind kind of browning off my flour, browning off the tomato puree on the heat. And even if I can just show you the very bottom of the pan, you'll see that little bit of dryness. Don't get excited about that as well, because that'll all come off in just a second. I'm going to throw in a little slurp of wine. So maybe people at home might be lucky enough to have some wine left over after the weekend. So if that's the case, you can put in some wine. If they don't have some left over, I'd advise not opening it, because we all know what happens with the rest of it.
You sort of drink the rest of it.
Again, you could substitute the wine for like a tin of tomatoes or additional stock if you want it. So in there goes our wine, in goes our beef stock. And I'm also going to add some cream, which is unusual. And again, if I can just show our viewers at home, just what I'm doing is I'm using my wooden spoon there to stir the bottom of that to make sure that any of that floury residue that has kind of adhered itself to the bottom will come from it. The cream, just note the colour change when the cream goes in. It goes that kind of like a dirty colour, but that will kind of...
That's unusual, is it?
Yeah, it is. But just look at the colour of that now, and then just note the difference of the one that I take out. Once it kind it gives a fabulous rich flavour, but the colour will change during the cooking process.
Right.
No harm putting a bit of cream in there now.
Not at all, a bit of flavour. So essentially what you're going to do, bring that up to the boil, then I'm going to just pop it into my oven-proof casserole dish and pop it into the oven for an hour and a half or 2 hours, which I have duly done. Now, again, think of other things that you might like to put in. You might like to put in some thyme, you might put in some bacon lardons or some pancetta as well. So this is scalding hot.
With the beef?
Yeah, beautiful. It turns it into kind of almost like the very classical French beef bourguignon when you put the bacon in there as well. Now,
let's see
so
this.
just look at this. This is the big reveal. So you can just see this is absolutely gorgeous looking.
How long was that in there for?
Now, again, you want to be giving that about 2 hours in there. But just look at those lovely chunks of veg in there
Stop
as well.
talking and serve.
Lash it up, dish it up, he says. Now, so I've got some, I've got a little bit of mashed potato here. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of mashed potato.
So what else would you do with it? It mashes the thing.
Mash is lovely. Now, I kind of only like my own mash. I'm not big into kind of buttery or milky mash, but mash, I'd love kind of rice with this. You know,
would
kind
you,
of
I was going to say, would you
a pilaf
some
rice?
30 seconds there, Edward.
A pilaf rice. Lash it on, absolutely. So there's your lovely beef dish.
Beautiful.
And as I said, it's lovely and slow cooked. And you've got the delicious mashed potatoes with that as well. But it's that real comfort thing. And just before I let you go, if you have any of that left for dinner today, put it into a casserole dish, put some mashed potato or some puff pastry on top of it, and turn it into a pie for tomorrow. So you get a couple of days out of it.
That beef is so tender.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous,
This
isn't
is my
it?
type of meal.
Yeah, that
Edward,
is
thank you
gorgeous.
so much.
You're very welcome. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Maren, we'll
Edward.
save you some, don't worry. We'll
Sure,
save you
yeah,
some.
that is never, ever, ever. That's not. Look at them. They're actually bet into it over there. Oh, lads, if you see, Alan's eating it so elegantly.